Dear friends, my name is Alexey Ognev, CEO of the DigiU ecosystem. Welcome to our webinar. Today, we have several important and interesting topics to discuss. These include my trip to Vietnam, the launch of Ava into the commercial mainnet, and the actual start of commercial operations of the product. We will delve into a subject that has been buzzing in the chats for the past few weeks: dividends, buybacks, and the survey we conducted. We will also talk about the products of our venture capital fund and share the latest news. And perhaps we will do it in an unconventional manner, using all the modern technologies available in our technological and venture portfolio. So, let's get started. The first topic is my trip to Vietnam and the overall series of trips that I embarked on in April. Initially, I traveled to India, where I spent a month visiting various cities, engaging with companies and partners, establishing numerous agreements, and initiating exciting processes. Towards the end of May, I arrived in Vietnam with the same purpose. Essentially, it involved studying the Vietnamese market from a technological perspective, exploring the partner market, understanding how the project is progressing, what the partners comprehend about the project, what they don't understand, what is being said correctly or incorrectly. In other words, it was a deep immersion. Together with the team of local representatives, we visited 3 major cities: Hanoi, Thanh Hoa Province, and Ho Chi Minh City. Everywhere, we attended large conferences, had numerous meetings, explored the market, and engaged in conversations. The day started at 12 p.m. and ended at 9:10 in the evening. It was truly a profound immersion. The most crucial aspect was understanding how the products are perceived in different countries, which products are well received and which ones are not. We aimed to discover what interests the audience and what doesn't. This process was essential, and most importantly, it took place in a calm manner, without rush, allowing us to receive feedback and speak with local companies. We have initiated the process of opening an office and establishing an organization to facilitate closer interaction with Vietnam in terms of investing in the country's economy and project selection. So the company is transitioning towards a more intensive collaboration. And all of this was done in a calm manner. It allowed us to make several discoveries regarding our partner program, each of our products, the venture capital fund's products, and the entire ecosystem. It was a fantastic trip. I express my gratitude to our Vietnamese partners for how well it was organized and for the level of connection we were able to establish. Overall, everything was great. And I believe, in the comments and Vietnamese chats, I extend my warm greetings to everyone. Please, also share your experiences of this trip. What did you learn from me? What questions did we address together? What plans did we make? Which projects we discussed? And so on. Additionally, we had the opportunity to visit the major Beetle Vietnam exhibition organized by NIR. We attended various presentations, engaged in networking, and had conversations with different projects. We observed how local hackathons are organized. We have plans to return to Vietnam in September and potentially organize our own hackathon, because there is demand for it there. And Ava products, venture capital fund products, Binaries, and others are relevant and well understood. We are considering starting a series of international hackathons in India, Vietnam, and possibly in other countries. However, for now, we see these 2 markets because they are the most open, in demand, and provide more opportunities for international collaboration, not only within these countries, but also with other countries in general. That's right. And accordingly, at the exhibition, we were able to draw many new ideas, establish connections, and expand contacts in the metaverse field. They call it metaverse there. I prefer to use the term virtual world, virtual space, and in the field of financial products, everything related to EVA cross-chain exchanges, national cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, and so on. It was a very eventful trip, and the most important thing was that the partners who accompanied us to these events, those who attended the negotiations, it was also crucial, because they immersed themselves and saw the questions that were raised, saw the answers I provided, saw certain things that we don't discuss, for example during webinars with you, how it happens in real life, and why certain decisions are made. Consequently, the level of immersion for national representatives and teams has increased. Vietnam is one of the leading countries in the ecosystem, and probably one of the leading economic centers in Asia. I don't want to offend anyone, but the level of education and the level of the economy there are incredibly high. I consider it necessary for the DigiU ecosystem to have an official presence in this region, and of course in India, Indonesia, and other Asian countries. My next trip is starting now. Literally, in a few days, I will be heading to Africa. It's Côte d'Ivoire, Cameroon, and if I manage to obtain a visa to Nigeria, it will be Nigeria as well. This will be the next level of immersion, because the African continent is also very promising in terms of partner promotion and the implementation of technologies that exist in our technological portfolio and essentially in the portfolios of the projects we invest in. And most importantly, the level of technological development in some African countries is truly remarkable. During our negotiations, for example with Nigeria, it was news to many that Nigeria is the first country in the world to issue and already introduce its national cryptocurrency, the national CBDC. They actively utilize it and are interested in promoting and exchanging it. This speaks to an incredibly high level of understanding of the blockchain market, artificial intelligence, and other related areas. We discussed things that in other countries we would have to explain, often starting from scratch. Why and how? Here, the stage of explaining from scratch was simply skipped. Let's move on, guys. We already have this working. Let's focus on how to make it even better with the help of the tools you have. That's right. I'm currently awaiting a visa to Nigeria. Well, and the series of negotiations that are already planned is quite impressive. What else do I want to say? In June, we managed to open our first office in India. It's our first partner office in another country. And I want to express my gratitude to the Indian leaders who took charge of this, took responsibility, found a place, and are conducting training. It's all great as well. And I will remind you, we've mentioned this before. We are now preparing for the largest exhibition in Mumbai. It will take place in August, and there will be speakers presenting all the products in our technological portfolio. By that time, I believe we will find a slightly more presentable venue, perhaps of a higher level in terms of demonstrating the entire ecosystem. It will be a self-sufficient office in another country that we will open. Well, India is an incredibly promising and vast market that needs to be explored in terms of technology, products, and attracting funding into the ecosystem. Right after Vietnam, I flew for a week and currently find myself in India, just before obtaining visas for African countries. Soon after recording this webinar, I will meet with local partners, companies, and other parties to continue developing the ecosystem in this region. Now, let's talk about the next part of our webinar, which is the launch of EVA. It has happened. It marks the commercial deployment, the launch in the mainnet, and has received high evaluations from auditors in terms of security and all related aspects. As the first investor and a company where this idea originated within our blockchain lab, we've been actively involved throughout the journey of the EVA project. We have eagerly participated in financing rounds and snapshots. And finally, this event has taken place. It's clear that this is just the beginning, but it signifies the product's entry into the market. For a more detailed information of how this product and event unfolded, including the results, indicators, figures, and volumes, I will now hand the floor over to Boris Povar, the CEO of Ava. He has specifically recorded a detailed voice message for us, shedding light on all these aspects. Hello, friends. We have launched Ava on the mainnet. In other words, we have launched all its components. First of all, there is the transport layer. It's a decentralized network of oracles called the Ava Oracle Network, which is currently one of the largest decentralized networks, ensuring maximum security. The Ava bridge and the data transfer protocol are currently among the safest protocols on the market, and we plan to soon open access for other projects to utilize this functionality. And of course, we have launched Ava DEX, which operates on top of the transport layer, allowing for the exchange of stablecoins between different blockchains. We support 6 blockchains, each with 4 types of stablecoins. Transactions for exchange can be made up to $1,000. Also, we now have a feature available where projects can create their own liquidity pools. Traders will be able to make purchases from different networks, buying this token while having access to a single liquidity pool. In other words, we have solved the problem of fragmented liquidity for projects. This required significant effort from our team. We have worked tirelessly, and this functionality is ready. We plan to begin project listings in July. We currently have a queue of projects waiting for integration. Some of them want to use the bridge to move their tokens, while others are interested in liquidity pools to enable cross-chain trading with their token. Some are interested in the data transfer protocol to develop their own cross-chain functionality in their project. At the moment, we have an average of 200 users per day using the application. But we haven't launched any promotions or marketing yet. We plan to do so in July as well. We are actively collecting feedback from the community and the market in order to make the necessary adjustments to the solution's architecture and make it even more efficient and beneficial for the users. Speaking of our plans until the end of the third quarter, we definitely intend to conduct a token generation event and public sales, as well as list the token. We are currently preparing for an exciting partnership with a top launchpad called CDFI. We will conduct an IDO there and plan to establish a marketing partnership with them. Additionally, we aim to hold a large public round for testers of our system on CDFI. One important announcement is that we plan to launch beta testing of the DEX and bridge on the mainnet. Beta testers will have the opportunity to receive a retro drop from the Ava project and will also be whitelisted for the public sale. I would like to remind you that the public sale volume is approximately $2 million. Alongside the alpha testers who tested our intermediate product in 2021, beta testers will also have the chance to participate in this sale. Based on these updates, we anticipate a significant increase in our community, attracting hundreds of thousands of users to our social networks and application. Now regarding Curve. We maintain good communication with them. We are progressing according to our integration plan. And we have already implemented a major portion of the discussed features. Furthermore, we are considering the possibility of applying for a grant through Curve's program. We are currently in negotiations regarding this opportunity. I would like to say thank you to the DigiU community and invite you to use AvaDex for your transactions. If, for example, you need to move stablecoins for any purpose, AvaDex is the solution for you. I also invite you to test and participate in the beta testing, which we will announce in July. You can receive a retro drop and take part in the public sale, which will be accessible to all testers. You can also participate in the IDO. Now, let me tell you about the token listing. We plan to launch trading of the token on AvaDex, and we are considering listing it on one of the top 10 exchanges. We are currently in negotiations. Potential platforms include KuCoin, Bybit, OKX, Gate, or MaxC. That's the approximate list. Additionally, we are in talks with one of the largest market makers in the industry, called G20. They are considering the possibility of investing in Ava and will contribute to the successful token launch on a centralized exchange. They may also provide liquidity for the decentralized exchange on AvaDex once we launch the token there. The launch of trading is scheduled no later than the end of the third quarter. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you a great day. We thank Boris for the information he shared with us. We join him in wishes for success to the Ava team and everyone involved in the project. And we appreciate the work they have done. We eagerly anticipate the next stages of development for this truly revolutionary product. Moving on to the next topic of today's webinar, it's a subject that has been occupying chat conversations with our investors and partners for the past 2 or maybe even 3 weeks. The topic of share buybacks and dividends. We recently conducted a survey to understand your position regarding the share buyback procedure. Are you interested in it? Or perhaps you are solely focused on dividends? Are you willing to sell a portion of your portfolio back to the company? I will share some thoughts that I have gathered, and then we will discuss the company's position on this matter, which undoubtedly interests everyone who participates in the chat discussions. Of course, it's not the entirety of our 17,000 investors from 184 countries worldwide. It's a group of active individuals who express their views and positions. Now, there have been many versions and theories about how the share buyback will take place. I have read and heard them in personal conversations, ideas, and proposals. Some have amazed me with their business approach, where individuals have calculated the price of the share buyback and realized that if they invested, let's say $1,000, and considering all the bonuses, selling 10% of their portfolio would bring them $10,000. It was interesting to read such proposals, although it can be challenging to perceive them differently. Intense debates have unfolded regarding the price at which the company will conduct the buyback. I too found it somewhat unclear why this specific value is of interest. While it's understandable why it's important, perhaps the overall amount that the company will buy back is more significant. The price will be calculated based on that. I made this point quite clear in the previous webinar. So, the actual price of the share buyback can be as low as $10, perhaps. The question is, at what amount will we conduct this buyback? That is much more important. Currently, we are striving to make this buyback for several $100,000, assuming there is demand for it this year. Based on this volume, let's say, for example, it will be $200,000. This is not an official statement. It's for ease of calculation. We will specify a period during which you can submit your applications. Based on the submitted applications and the number of shares, we will determine the amount, or the demand. And then it will be clear at what price the offer will be made. Therefore, it's too early to talk about share prices. For now, it makes sense to focus on the overall buyback volume and the demand that will exist at the moment when we announce the collection of applications, based on which the buyback will be conducted. Currently, we've been studying public opinion, and it has been crucial. Besides some curious proposals I have received, there have also been quite reasonable ones, and I am grateful for that. Many suggested non-paying dividends and not engaging in a buyback for now, but rather focusing on filling the venture capital fund. That is a very sound business approach. Many asked, why would you allocate a portion of the funds meant for dividends to the buyback? What if I don't want to sell? It seems unfair to me. That is also a very valid perspective. With this survey on the topic, we generally surveyed our audience. Understandably, it doesn't represent the majority. It's clear that it's only those who actively follow the project, read posts, email newsletters, and take an active position. For that, we extend our sincere gratitude to you. I want to mention that people's opinions are almost evenly split, with about 52% supporting the reverse buyback and 48% not supporting it, meaning they prefer to receive dividends and are not interested in the buyback. These are the two positions we have received, and we will probably conduct several more surveys. I think one will be more precise, more comprehensive, and we will try to involve more people, more participants. And accordingly, the decision regarding the dividend payment in July, which was planned, will be made around mid-July or maybe in the earlier days. So, let me repeat to everyone watching the webinar. We have not cancelled the dividends, and the decision has not been made yet. There is a certain business approach that obliges us as a company aiming to fill the venture capital fund to allocate all profits to the venture capital fund. That's one perspective, a balancing factor. The second approach is a familiar form of interaction, so to speak, to which people have probably become accustomed, receiving dividends twice a year. They may be significant for some and small for others. So, that's the other balancing factor. We will assess and make a decision. And of course, we will inform everyone in advance. And most importantly, I express sincere gratitude to everyone who comments in the chats, to all those who ask questions. Many have heard this personally from me, through private messages, meetings, and conversations. It's right. When you ask questions, when you clarify things for yourself, it's very commendable. My recommendation is that the questions should always become more serious and valuable for the entire audience, reading them in the chats. So, we are planning the buyback for the end of the year. Will it happen or not? The decision will be made later. It's important to focus on the overall buyback amount rather than the price per share, because that can be any value. What matters is the total amount. If the decision is made to conduct the buyback, there will be a specific period for submitting applications, during which you will either have time or not. Perhaps there will be additional conditions related to the investor's good faith, as we call it. It's possible that there won't be any additional conditions. I am now sharing the thoughts that are in my mind, the thoughts that resonate within the team, within the community, and across different countries. Most importantly, please don't assume that if, for example, it caused a strong reaction in a Russian-speaking chat, the same intense reaction exists in other countries, and so on. It's also important to consider that the project is international, and our task is to take into account the interests of the majority in matters such as dividends, share buybacks, ecosystem development, achieving the economic indicators we have set for ourselves, reaching the business result that we have set as our goal, and implementing the grand 10-year concept that we have chosen and set as our target. This should be in the first place. Only such an approach allows us to achieve results, to make the world a better place. It enables us to create financial, economic, and other outcomes that many strive for as their goal. Each person's goal may be different. Ours is the one we have been transmitting and declaring for almost 4 years now. This year marks the 4th year. So, we have discussed some of the ongoing activities of the project: trips, international communication, AVA launch, and the topic of dividends and share buyback. There is a lot of news that have passed, including those from May, which are worth reminding about. There are many updates from June as well. There are plans that we probably won't have time to address now, because there has been a lot going on, and I have already covered many topics. Therefore, in the next week, or maybe in 2 weeks, we will have a big webinar. Maybe I will invite Alexander E. to join us. We will discuss the venture capital fund projects, new and existing ones, and plans for various exhibitions and the venture capital fund. There is a lot to cover, and Alexander is quite adept at presenting it in an interesting way. Now, I suggest that we include our traditional news digest, which is released regularly in today's webinar. I will now pass the floor to Alexey Ponyatov to tell us about how the previous month went in the format of the beloved news digest for everyone.
Hello, dear partners and investors. My name is Alexey Ponyatov, and I am the head of marketing at DigiU. This is our monthly video digest, and today we are going to find out how did May and June go for our ecosystem. This video will be unusual, but for now I will not disclose all the secrets. Enjoy watching. In May, the conditions for buying new share packages have been changed. From May 15th, the cost of shares is 3 cents. From May 20th, the minimum payment for new installments is $50. Looking ahead, I would also like to note that from the 1st of June, the maximum installment term is 15 months, and the minimum size of the package is $250. On the 21st of May, the special offer Double Share Package started, in which more than 500 people took part. Each partner now has the opportunity to double their previously purchased package of shares on favorable terms. The AWA project has also brought great news. Ahead of its commercial mainnet launch, popular international media such as Bloomberg, Yahoo Finance, Cointelegraph, and others have written about it. You can read articles about AWA through the links in our Telegram channel. On June 1st, we started the first DigiU lottery with valuable gifts and a total prize pool of more than $15,000. Winners will receive DigiU share packages ranging from $10,000 to $50, AWA tokens, Binary X tokens, and 1 digital avatar. To take part in the lottery, you just need to make any payment for DigiU shares. For every $50, you will get 1 lottery ticket. The more lottery tickets you have, the higher your chance of winning prizes is. In June, we organized the last sale of AWA tokens, in which DigiU ecosystem partners could make payments both in USDT and from the balance of their personal account. The sale finished in 46 hours. Congratulations to all AWA token holders. On June 10th, AWA DEX was officially launched. The product was audited, it completed the required security and vulnerability checks, and got great reviews. From now on, the technical operation of the AWA project begins. Congratulations. On June 15th, the price of DigiU shares was increased. Now it is 4 cents. In May, we also announced that a new project will be added to the venture capital fund. Its name is SpiritMe, a project that uses artificial intelligence technology to create digital avatars for anyone who wants in just 5 minutes. Avatar is your digital reflection that looks exactly like you, can talk, gesticulate, and express your emotions. You may be surprised now, but I am also a digital avatar. Hello again. It is Real Me with you, Alexei Ponyatov. And as you already realized, this digest has been recorded using digital avatar technology. Thus, we decided to demonstrate you how it works. The digital avatar can speak different languages.
Bonjour chers partenaires et investisseurs. Je m'appelle Alexei Ponyatov, responsable du département marketing.
こんにちは。私の名前はアレクセイ・ポニアトフ、マーケティング部門の責任者です。
Guten Tag, verehrte Partner und Investoren. Mein Name ist Alexei Ponyatov. Ich bin der Leiter der Marketingabteilung in DigiU.
Здравствуйте, уважаемые партнеры.
It also saves your time and money. For example, it used to take a whole team and a day's work to create a video like this, and the total cost was about $800. And with this technology, we can create a video in literally 5 minutes by simply uploading text to the app and pressing one button. You, the partners, can also use this technology. With a digital avatar, you can create training videos or company presentations and spend much less time on it than you needed before. The technology is also a great example that everyone can see and understand how modern technologies are already used in everyday life. I'll tell you more about how I created my avatar. I just had to take my phone, allocate some of my time, record a few clips, and speak the text in several languages in which I can do it. And the result was this product. It's the future, and whether you will be the part of it depends only on you. In the near future, we will open the possibility of creating digital avatars for you on special terms. Stay tuned. This was the video digest for May and June. And me, Alexei Ponyatov. See you soon.
So now you've seen a real business case of applying the technology that is in our technological portfolio. Essentially, it represents a significant evolution of both the technology itself and its business applications. Go to any of my social media profiles and take a look at my digital avatar, which I recorded last year. The quality is significantly worse. If you compare it to the avatar that Alexei Ponyatov recorded last month, spending 5 minutes of his time on it, you will see that they are practically indistinguishable. The only difference may lie in the voice. It is noticeable that the voice sounds like a so-called robo-voice. If you just look at the image without sound, even the facial expressions, smile, eyes, eyebrow movements, and everything else are virtually indistinguishable. Well, I don't know. I watched it without sound, and it was difficult for me to tell. And I'm really happy about that. I can see the progress of the technology. The coolest thing is that each of you can go to the website right now and create such an avatar for yourself. Of course, for the DigiU ecosystem, we will probably offer some special conditions a little later. But right now, I strongly recommend that each of you go and try this technology. And most importantly, You've seen a business case. Our company was able to save almost 50% of the budget that we would have spent if we hadn't used this technology. These are the expenses for voiceover, translation, operator work, rental of locations, employee hours, and so on. We saved twice as much as on all of this. And I think if we scale this up, the savings will be even more significant. Although the impact achieved through the video may be a bit less, because it lacks live sound. But it's incomparable to the expenses and the savings that are achieved. And this is one of the key things to understand when we talk about the prospects of the technology, its commercial application. Whether it's already accessible now, or if it will happen in 5 or 10 years, when certain events occur. Well, here you go. It's already working. Businesses are already applying it, and it's not just us. Many users and major companies collaborating with SpiritMe are doing it too. Therefore, I'm incredibly delighted to witness such an application. Naturally, we strive to explain and demonstrate it in a user-friendly manner. And if you, including yourself in further self-improvement and delving into the technology, it will undoubtedly be accessible to you right from the start. In other words, wow, that's awesome. This is how it can be applied. I will go and share it. Moreover, it probably makes sense to elaborate on how we apply and prepare for the Binaryx technology for real estate tokenization. However, I'll save that for our upcoming webinar, which I believe will be conducted together with Alexander E. We'll discuss our plans and what has already been accomplished within our own DigiU ecosystem marketplace for tokenized real estate. I also want to remind everyone that the first DigiU ecosystem lottery ends at the end of this month. It's a new activity we launched this month. Anyone making any payment of $50 or its equivalent in dollars receives a lottery ticket and participates in the draw for DigiU ecosystem share packages. You have the opportunity to win a package worth $10,000 in anticipation of dividend payments, buybacks, and overall plans I have mentioned. It's an incredibly promising investment and consequently a highly rewarding prize that you can receive simply by purchasing a share package, opting for installment payment, or making any payment related to shares in the DigiU ecosystem. Therefore, I strongly encourage everyone to participate in it. If the activity proves successful and enjoyable, we will continue conducting it on a regular basis. Thank you for today's webinar, for our meeting. It's being recorded, so when you watch it, feel free to ask questions in the chat, and we will respond. All the best, take care, and see you soon.